Combination forms. So combination forms are very handy. There are many times when you need to collect data from your team. So inspection results, reports, work logs, etc. And to gather this data, you need to allow for multiple types of input. Just checklist style answers might be too limiting, or the text response answers, might be too open. You need the ability to combine these answer types, and this is where combination forms really shine. A combination form is an asset, so to create one here on our home screen, we're going to tap the plus icon here next to the asset button. And combination forms are under, of course, the Forms tab up here at the top, and here in the bottom right, we see the combination form button. This Create Form screen is, it's very similar to other screens used to create assets, so we always want to start at the top and work our way to the bottom. So let's go ahead and skip this image thumbnail for this example, and we'll enter a name for our combination form. Let's call it Post Incident Report. Okay. So, maybe we want our teams to provide us with some, useful information if there's an incident during their shift. The description field here is where we can add notes to ourselves or to other admins who might see this asset. Let's go ahead and skip this for this example. So we can get right down here to the area that, really makes combination forms so unique and useful. If we tap on the Add Questions button here, you'll see that I'm presented with 9 different question types that I can populate my combination form with. And I'm going to briefly tell you what each one of these is, and then I'll show you a screen grab of each also. So starting up here with multiple choice. This option allows your teams to select an answer or answers from a list of options. Ordering. Items in a list can be basically drag and dropped into an order and then submitted. A pick list. This pick list allows users to make a selection from a list of options. Measurement units. Users they select the type of measurement unit that's appropriate for their answer. And those unit types are determined by the author of the form. So, they can literally be anything you want. In this case, it is imperial liquid units. The user basically picks the unit type and then enters the amount of that unit. Okay, next, rating. Your teams can use a rating scale. The rating scale doesn't have to be numerical like this example. It can be anything the author of the form desires. Text response is a text field that allows for free text entry. Single line text response is another text field, but this one is limited to 1 line for those times when you don't want long answers. What's your email? What's your name? What brand of forklift? Things like that. Switch. This is basically, it's a yes, no, a present or not present type of an answer. And finally, checklist. Perhaps the most used of all answer types. If I want to add one of these to my combination form, I just tap the one I want. Let's add a text response. And I'm taken to the text response creation screen. Once again, always work from the top to the bottom. Let's add a text response question. Okay, so please describe the incident. All right. Most of the options for the combination form answer types include the ability to add an image, make the question required, and show instructions. Making the question required, it forces the user to answer the question before they can submit the form. Selecting show instructions allows me to enter text that the user will see next to the question. So let's put, please include the time and date. All right. And when you're satisfied with your question, tap Done, and our question is added to our combination form here. So now we can tap Add Question again to add our second question in our combination form. I'll tap it again, and once again, I can choose a new question type. And this question will be presented to the user directly after they answer the previous question we just created. So let's choose switch. As you can see, the screen is very similar to the text response creation screen, but with some subtle differences that allow us to create a switch. So we add the switch question, basically the text that will be presented next to the switch. Let's enter incident resulted in an injury. Now, if the user flips that switch on, we will know that there was, unfortunately, an injury associated with this incident. So as you can see, we have the same options we had for our previous question: add image, required question, and show instructions. And I'm happy with this question, so I'll tap done, and you can see that my new question has been added to my combination form. Now let me employ some video editing magic. I'm going to jump ahead to where I've populated my combination form with a few more questions to make it a bit more realistic. Okay. As you can see, I've added a few more questions. At any time, we can tap on any one of our questions and make edits. We can long tap the 3-bar icon over here on the right side to reorder the questions. Users will always see these questions in the order from top to bottom. And if I no longer want a question on my form, I can tap the red minus icon over here on the left side of the question and remove it. So when we're satisfied with everything, we tap done. And if we navigate back to our home screen, tap the assets button, we see that our new combination form has taken the place at the top of our asset list. So I can tap it and I can see a lot of useful information. We can see, for example, that it's not yet been attached to any tasks, but it is ready to be assigned out as an assignment or made available as an on-demand asset. And we can edit, preview, or remove it. Let's tap preview and see what our users will work with when they access it. You can see that each of the question types we created are presented in this vertical list. As users fill out this information, it will be reported back to the PinPoint system where it can be accessed, reviewed, tracked, all of the important things that improve communication, risk management, training, processes, really, creating those connections that make a difference.